Hello and welcome to the Coming of Cage podcast, your Nicolas Cage movie review podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Derek, and your other host, Ryan, is with me as well.
I am, and this week we are doing episode 85 of our Nick Cage watching podcast.
Mm-hmm.
This one is a movie called Looking Glass, and if you've never heard of it, it's because it's probably one of the most forgettable Nick Cage movies we've watched so far.
It also made just under $80,000 at the box office.
And that's thousand,
Thousand, eighty
to be
thousand.
clear.
Yes.
Yes, to be clear.
Not a wide release, I don't think. But yeah, it's a 2018 movie where, quote, Ray must race to save his wife and himself from a gruesome secret connected to a desert motel.
Yeah, which is not a really great description of what the movie actually is. And I
Not at
actually
all.
still, having watched the movie, don't know what it was supposed to be.
Man, it was trying to do too many things, and it definitely dropped some of them completely.
Yeah, it's like it was couldn't decide whether it wanted to be mystery or if it wanted to be horror or if it wanted to just be a thriller or what it wanted to be.
Or like a parent drama
Yeah.
dealing with grief. Like there's a lot at play here. So Nicolas Cage plays Ray. He's the husband. And Robin Tunney, she plays Maggie, the wife. You may know her from The Craft or Empire Records, for example. And they lost their daughter. She fell out of a window, and the mom has drug problems, and the dad is
A
so
cheater.
socializing with the neighbors. And so they buy a desert motel to start over.
Right.
That's
That's kind of a lead into the movie.
that's the premise.
And if you haven't listened to this podcast before, you picked a weird episode to come in on, but welcome. The way we usually do these is I take notes throughout the movie in the chronological order of things that happen in the movie, not necessarily, you know, the way things are actually happening in the world of the movie. Um, and we go through those things on the podcast, and Derek tries to interpret whatever I've written as to a meaning of something that happened in the movie, sometimes successfully, often unsuccessfully. But then we talk about it and hit all the big beats and see what we think. This one is rated at a 4.7 out of 10 on IMDb. So definitely on the lower end of Nick Cage movies, but far from the lowest rated we've watched.
Sure. Yeah, he's got some in the twos.
Yeah. I thought I remembered a 1.7 in there, but I couldn't remember what movie that was from.
I mean, it was probably like never on Tuesday or
Could be, yeah. Um, yeah, so starting right out of the gate, one of the things that we look at is the number of title screens that Nick Cage movies have, because so many of them are like weird indie films that need like seven different financial backings to make happen. And this one only had two. So
yeah,
very impressive. Although I can't imagine it was a very expensive movie to make, having seen it.
but it did have, and this is not an exaggeration, like a dozen executive producers.
That's true. Literally anybody that showed up to set got an executive producer credit.
I've never seen so many people with the executive producer credit on one movie.
We do also play a Nicolas Cage themed bingo alongside
Woo.
watching these movies. And so right out of the gate in this movie, in like the first 5 minutes, you get a helicopter establishing shot, which I didn't
Ding.
have. I didn't have on my bingo card. Facial hair. Nick has facial hair. Nick wears glasses. All right away. And they are driving.
And he's drinking.
He actually drinking beer in this scene?
Yes.
Because
And
we see him take a can up, but I couldn't tell what it was.
okay, so that's a fair question. I'm I'm
It doesn't matter
confident
because he
it
smokes
was
later, but
yeah, I was confident it's supposed to be a beer. Well, I think it's important to the characters that he's just openly drinking this as they're driving down a desert highway. To me it looks like it's supposed to be a beer, especially because later when we see him drink a literal beer, the can looks very similar.
yeah, I mean, whether it is or isn't, it's still a space on the bingo card
Yeah.
because he does drink and smoke later in the movie.
Hmm.
So we're going down the desert highway for a while, and it's kind of splicing in like shots of a news report with a death of a daughter or a little girl. We don't know it's a daughter, I don't think, at this point. But then eventually gets to the point where the wife, presumably at this point in the movie, we don't really know for sure, but she says that she's literally gonna piss her pants if he doesn't pull over. Which seems
Mhm.
like not the time to tell somebody that you need to pull over. It seems like 10 minutes before that would probably be the best time to tell somebody that.
Desert Highway, though, maybe she just felt like eventually she'd see an exit sign somewhere, and it never happened.
Also, if you're literally gonna piss your pants on the desert highway, just fucking pull over. It's a desert
Yeah,
highway. There's no other cars. Just go.
yeah, I'm with you
Look,
there.
I get it. Women have it a little harder than men. I get that. I'm not trying to, do it. But if it's that or piss your pants, you know, make the
Priorities.
right call.
Yeah.
Yeah. The wife dry swallows pills
Oh,
in this scene,
nice.
in this part of the movie. So if you have that, we did have it just says dry swallowing on our bingo card.
Yeah, that counts.
So I think that counts. And it happens often enough that we have a bingo space for it. If you can believe that, go listen to all our other episodes and find out the other dry swallowing episodes. Um, okay, so tell me if this bothered you. I don't know why it bothered me so much, except
Okay.
that I'm guessing one of the producers was like, I love this and we're doing it. So it's like normal title screens. And then all of a sudden, the like executive producers list or like some of the people that are involved in the movie start doing a zoom effect
Yeah,
into
all of
into the camera, and it's just out of nowhere. It's a normal text, and then it just starts zooming at the camera in like bright red letters that don't have anything to do with anything in the movie.
I'm so glad you brought it up because I found the opening credit sequence that was so distracting, and it comes back at the end too. It
Yes, it
does not
does.
fit the movie at all.
No, it fits like a B horror movie from like 1974.
Right, it feels like, something you'd get from like a Tarantino flick,
Right.
right? That
Like
was
a
trying to take,
pulpy, kind of a
yes,
pulpy
that's,
movie, yeah.
thank you. Yeah, it's exactly what it looks like, but that's not what this movie is at all.
No, it was so distracting. And some producer just loved that and was not willing to relent.
It's weird, man.
What a weird choice. And I know we're dwelling on that a little bit, but if you watch just the intro to this movie, it's distracting as hell. I don't know which one of them thought it was a good idea, but
Well, and it comes back at the end of the movie equally bad.
right.
So
And I do
the
have a
movie's
note about that
it's
too.
bookended by it. So that's why it's significant to me.
Yes, it's just a terrible decision. Um, yeah, so my note on that was Zoom effect titles is terrible. So they eventually, after driving for what appears to be a long time, um, they get to a motel in a location we don't really know where this location is. And I don't know if it's ever officially established in the movie. It's near Las Vegas, I think it's implied because it's a desert and they go to a casino later in the movie.
So, according to the behind the scenes, it was filmed in Utah.
Okay.
So we could assume that it takes place in Utah, but I do
Is there a
not think,
desert in Utah?
yeah,
Okay. Fair
yeah.
enough.
So at the end of the day, I think they don't confirm it.
Yeah, I guess I just assumed it was near Vegas because that's like Nick Cage's favorite place to do movies and he lives there, and that this would have been a small town like on the way to Vegas, but
Mm.
it isn't really relevant to the rest of the movie. It's just kind of ambiguous about where this place is.
Well, you
Um,
do like that can be on the Big O card though. So it's important
true.
if it confirmed it. I don't think it's confirmed.
No, agreed. So they get to this motel, and we still don't really know what's going on with this motel, like what's happening, but they're looking for someone and knocking on the door. I thought they were just going to be staying at this hotel or something,
Right.
but then they find keys in an envelope next to the door, and they open up. So I assumed at this point it's kind of assumed that they are like taking care of this hotel or bought this hotel motel or whatever, something along those lines. They're going to be caretaking this hotel, it seems like, for an indefinite amount of time. And eventually Nick Cage's character gets a hold of the owner, or the other owner calls.
No,
He calls when they go to sleep, he like in the
right.
middle of the night. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we'll get to that. um yeah, so it's very late, when they get there, and uh the wife is like, I'm ready for bed, and Nick is like, okay, go ahead and go to bed. I'm gonna unpack everything. And she's like, no, I'll help you. And he's like, no, it's fine, I'll do that. And then we never see him unpack anything. All we see is him like go to each room in the hotel, kind of take a look around. He tries to straighten a painting that's apparently been screwed into the wall crooked,
Which is a running joke
like
about cheap
very crooked.
motels, but yeah.
But why would somebody purposefully screw this into the wall very crooked? There's no way anyone thought that was straight.
I don't know. I thought it was just
This
supposed to
isn't a
be.
comedy. Like that's the thing
No,
is,
it felt like a critique on like the shitty landlord type situation, you know?
I guess. So yeah, he does all that, and eventually he goes to go to sleep in his full clothing, mind you. He's laying down, and he does this multiple times throughout the movie. But
Mhm.
at this point, he's literally like wearing a flannel shirt, a jacket, like jeans, a
He's done
belt.
this in other
Just
movies too.
yeah, he lays down to go to sleep, or at least it's implied he's about to go to sleep. But then the cell phone rings, and it's the former owner of this
Ben.
place,
Yeah.
Ben. Yeah, and he goes, "Hey, glad to see you settled in." And it's like, Ben, how do you know they've settled in? You you don't own this. You don't have access to cameras on this place. You don't have any clue. You just left keys in an envelope outside. How do you know they've settled in just because he answered his phone?
I, yeah, man. Ben's an odd character. So he's played by Bill Bolender. You might know him from Shawshank, Dante's Peak. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Uh, it's a confusing character for 90% of the movie.
Yeah.
It's very odd. When does this take place? Does this take place in 2018?
See, my partner who I watched the movie with was having trouble figuring that out too, but it just seemed like it was taking place in modern times to me.
Yeah, like his phone is like the only thing that makes it feel present day. Everything else makes this feel like it was supposed to take place in the early 90s or something.
See, I
Was that
never
just
really got that vibe.
no?
Yeah, there
Okay.
was, I mean, the main Mustang that is a pivotal point
That's
of the
true.
movie is like a
No,
2016.
you're right about that. The Mustang breaks that. You're right.
Um, so yeah, he starts exploring and he finds this creepy ass basement. There's like it's okay. So the guy gave him these keys, right? And
Hmm.
so he tries these keys. There's this one room that says private,
It's the
and
pool maintenance room is what it
and
says. Yeah.
it's got a chain. Not only is that locked, but it has a chain with a lock.
Hmm.
And he doesn't have a key to this, so he has to go buy bolt cutters to get into this. It also bothered me a little bit that he cut the chain instead of the lock. I don't know why that bothered me, but just cut the
Yeah,
lock, man, and then you can use the chain for other stuff.
I didn't notice that part.
Anyway, I only noticed it because I expected him to cut the lock because that's what generally what people use bolt cutters for, and then he didn't. Um,
Keeping you on your toes.
yeah. So he finds this basement and gets some stuff out of it, and then goes back out, and there's a trucker that comes in, and he's creepy right away. Like they have him being kind of like this off-putting character. Of course, every single fucking character in this movie is an off-putting character.
So that's I'm glad you said that because that's part of the problem with the movie. Everybody is suspicious as fuck. Everybody is weird and standoffish and like you said creepy. It it creates a bit of a problem when everybody is that way.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a pod people town that
But
they
it seems like
stumbled
I think they
into.
were doing this to try and make it more of like a who done it. Like when you get to the end
I
and they're trying to figure
guess.
out and they want you to suspect everybody. But really it's super obvious. Like it's one of two people basically at the end and
Right.
but we'll get to that. But yeah, everybody that they deal with in this whole fucking movie is like super suspicious.
Hmm.
Either they look like an alien because they pick some of the weirdest looking people for certain
No
roles.
offense to those people, but yeah, that was the goal though, was to make this feel like a really
Because
creepy,
those people
awkward,
know why they got hired. Like,
you know.
let's be clear. Those people are getting roles because they look like that. So,
But again, that was part of the story that goes nowhere.
right. But yeah, so this trucker comes in and he's like, "You must be the new owner." And he's like, "Yeah. Can you fill out this card with your information?" The guy's like, "No, I'm a regular." And he's like, he just stares at him. Nick Cage does. And then the guy's like, "Well, you don't know me from a hole in the wall, so I guess I'll figure this out, or I'll fill this out for you." So he fills one line, like he fills it out so fast. He must have just written his name on it
That's what he
instead
says.
of
He said, I'll fill out my name. That's all he
yeah.
does.
And then he gives him cash, and he says, "I want room 10," and that's the only room he wants.
This is lucky room. Yeah.
That's his lucky room. And
Now,
so
look, we don't know much yet, but did you think Ray, Nicolas Cage's character, was being like extra standoffish? Like this is his like second customer buying this brand new business, and like I felt like he was being kind of a dick.
I'm going to take it a step further than that
Okay.
and say that not only was he being standoffish, but these people are bad fucking business owners because this is their livelihood, right? They
Right?
presumably spent a lot of money to buy this motel. Literally, anytime anybody comes in the room, comes in the front lobby to get a room, the wife is like, "Can you get that, Ray?" And then Ray looks like he can't be bothered to do anything. He does not want to help people.
No, it's such an
Why are
inconvenience
they in a
anytime
customer?
somebody
Yeah, why are
shows
they in
up.
a customer service profession? It makes me feel like I have a retail job, and it makes me feel like a bunch of the people I work with that just don't want to help customers, which is fine in a setting like that. But when there's only two people, and this is their business that they own and is their livelihood
They literally live there in the office
in the lobby,
on
yeah,
property. It's not like they go home for the night and there's like a night person or something. Like they show now I understand that they're running away from sounds bad, but they're trying to move on from a really horrible past. I respect that. But yeah, it doesn't feel like they want the job.
yeah,
You know, like this dude's a trucker. He doesn't know Ray doesn't yet know the creepy part, right? We know that now, but he doesn't know that yet, and he's just being a dick.
yeah. And the guy is not being like the most forthcoming with information either. But yeah,
It's
if you're
also a
in a
cash
customer
paid
service,
motel in the middle of the desert. Like there has to
right,
be a
you're gonna
little,
have some weird customers. That's just how it goes
and there needs to be a little bit of like understanding
of
when
what's
you
happening. Yeah,
right if you own a place like that, you know.
right. Um, so he rents out to this trucker, and he goes back to this basement to get some chemicals. And while he's down there, he notices this weird, it almost looks like a hole in the wall or something, covered up by really poorly covered up, by the way, with some like pieces of broken drywall and a rag,
It's
literally. And so he
uh
moves all this stuff out of the way. He's like, "Whoa, what is this?" And then conveniently, there's a ladder right next to it. So he climbs up the ladder and goes down the creepiest looking like crawl space you've ever seen with spider webs everywhere. This weird green light from something that's never explained why the light is green coming in here.
this is why
And
my arachnophobia is helpful because I never would have gone in there.
right, yeah, you would have never discovered the secret.
Never would have gone in
So
there.
he goes down there and through all these spider webs, and there's like a viewing room set up behind the mirror of room 10.
Hmm.
And so he can see what's happening, and he's spying on this trucker who is in there like dancing with this woman in his underwear and just like, seemingly spending time with a woman and enjoying the company.
Hmm.
And so he spies on them for a while and is like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
Yeah, we get a lot of close up Nick Cage face in this movie.
And most of the time it's either confused or horny. Those are like the
Those
two
are the
expressions he uses in this movie. To great effect, mind you. I mean, he really nails both of
yeah,
them, but
totally.
and we'll get into a little bit of that, some of these notes later. But he leaves. He's like, "What the fuck am I doing?" He goes to lay down in bed, fully clothed once again,
Again.
and he successfully falls asleep. And this time we get to see his dream.
Oh God.
he dreams. So when they first get to this hotel, some woman starts pounding on the door to like their house, like the living space entrance,
Hmm.
and he lets her in, and it's the cleaning lady, and she introduces herself and her son, I think it was, or her nephew or something.
Nephew, yeah.
Well, in this dream, this woman is seducing him and giving him a little quick blowy on the bed.
Yep. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So that's fun.
That's fun. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah. So then he wakes up the next morning, and I think his wife is cooking breakfast or something, and he sees some adoption papers, like not papers, but like flyers,
Brochures, yeah.
pamphlets, yeah, about adoption on the table, and starts flipping the fuck out. He is flipping out. He's like, "How dare you bring these into our house? I'm not ready to replace my daughter." And so they have like the one big fight they really have in this movie is that I mean, they have
No,
some,
there's another one later.
yeah, I guess through from some stuff in the past, but yeah, this is like a big fight. And also at some point she's like, fine, we don't have to talk about it anymore. She picks up all the flyers and throws them into the most inconvenient trash can I've ever seen. It's literally like an Easter basket, like
It's
you know
like
you would
a
give a kid. It's like
it's a cheap
not,
office trash can.
yeah, but it's not in the office, it's in the living room.
Mm,
And it clearly is way too small for these brochures because she throws them in there and it's just on top of
yes.
of the trash can. It is the most inconvenient trash can for a living room I've ever seen. I don't
The
know
thing
why
the,
I'm focused
the
on so
things
much
that you're just like,
small stuff in this movie. There's just so many little things that irritated me in this movie. I don't know why.
this movie really hurt Ryan. So,
It did. It bothered me. So he's like, I need to go get some cigarettes or something. And so he walks across the street to the gas station. Now, before we get into any of this, I want to say that, Derek, if you were buying a motel, if you and your wife were in the market for buying a motel,
mhm.
would one of the criteria of what you know when you're looking at different motels to buy, would one of them be maybe going around the area, seeing the kind of businesses in the area, maybe meeting some of the people in the area, and seeing what the vibe is like before you buy, presumably a business that's worth several $100,000.
So you would think so. And later in the movie, we find out he did drive up there to meet Ben before the purchase. So he
But
went.
only Ben, only
Right.
Ben.
So he went. It'd be one thing if it was like, well, you're coming from across the country and you just can't swing it. So you're rolling the dice and taking a chance. Like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't do that, but okay. But he was there and chose to do zero legwork
right.
for this purchase.
So he goes into this gas station across the street, and this is, I can't remember. It was like later in the evening, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a 24/7 place, it says on the door. So I think we're supposed to feel like this is in the middle of the night.
Yeah, so he goes over there, and the guy behind the counter, when he's paying, the guy is like, "You're the one that just bought that motel across the street, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And the guy's like, "Let me know if you ever need anything taken care of, because me and the boys can take care of anything and make anything disappear."
And that never comes up ever again.
But he's basically acting like he's a mafia member.
So that's where I thought this was going. I thought it was going to be like they're doing illegal things at the motel and they're going to try and extort him or something like that. Like I thought that's where the movie was heading. But this literally never comes up again.
Right. Yeah, so he's like, "Okay, thanks." And then when he leaves, he looks over, and this is one of those gas stations that has like a small repair shop, like garage for
Yeah.
vehicles, right attached to it. And when he looks over, they've got like this, I don't know, 70s Cutlass or something on a lift.
Mhm.
And the three creepiest guys, weirdest looking dudes you've ever seen in your life are in this garage staring at him. And one is being lowered, is in the car on the lift for some reason. And they're lowering it down and all staring at him. And the only thing moving is the lift going down with this car in it. As they all stare, nobody says anything. And he just lights up a cigarette and moves. But it was just, what an out of place fucking scene.
Mhm. Again, something you think is going to come back, that these guys are going to terrorize them in some way.
I mean, it does come back a little bit, but not like not like you're saying.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does go
Um,
back over there one more time, but that's it.
yes. Something we haven't mentioned up into this, well, I guess we briefly mentioned it, is that there's a blonde woman in a Mustang that has been there a couple of times. The first time, I guess, the wife checked her in. Oh, because it was their first customer. And
So this is where things get a little confusing. The Mustang is owned by the Cassie woman,
yes,
not this this blonde woman that we see in room 6. That's a
right.
different woman.
But this other woman doesn't have a car apparently
I don't
because
think so.
it's only the Mustang. But
It's a little confusing because she's there for multiple days.
sure. And but the way we get introduced to this situation is that we find out that they got their first customer a day early before they were supposed to start taking customers, and that Nick Cage walks out into the like parking lot and stares at this woman who's walking around half naked in front of the window for a while.
Hmm.
And then she closes the blinds. Not because she sees him, but just because she's already done what she needed to do, walking around naked in front of the, not naked, but mostly
Yeah.
naked in front of
I,
the window.
this is clearly setting up the support for Nick's character Ray being a less than faithful husband who, clearly has a problem. It's one like cheating on your significant other is a bad thing, but he's also like clearly going to have privacy issues being the owner of a motel, which is another different problem.
Right, he's constantly walking through this parking lot, like staring at the cars. Like yeah, it's a weird situation.
And look, I'm not saying if you own a property like that, you shouldn't be aware of what's going on and making sure that your customers are safe,
Yeah,
right? But that's not what he's doing.
yeah. So after the mafia thing, he comes back and he notices that red Mustang is back and it's parked in front of room 10.
Hmm.
And so he's like, there's a viewing portal there.
Jesus.
And so he goes and creeps down on this lady, which turns out to be two ladies. The one that owns the Mustang seems to be some sort of dominatrix type
Hmm.
person, and the other one seems to be I would assume, a submissive type woman that seems to be paying for these services.
Hmm.
Um, and we do get one of our bingo card slots, which is woman on top sex. It's not specifying with Nick Cage.
Did you count that
I did
as
count that.
okay?
It's a what? Why wouldn't you? It's woman on top sex.
I I guess I didn't feel like it went that far, but I don't have that on my card this time anyway, so I didn't
Oh, okay.
think too much about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's good. You shouldn't think too much about that while we're on a podcast. But yeah, so he watches for a while and then he gets all horned up. Um Goes back to the bed with the wife and immediately starts like she's asleep and he starts like going in on it. Like he wants to bone down. And so they have sex. We get some nudity, which is another slot on our bingo card.
Yeah, we get a boob.
One boob.
But yeah,
Um,
we got Nick's sex scene, we got nudity.
yeah, yeah, true. Um, so next morning after they bone down, uh, a sheriff shows up at this motel, and he's instantly the most suspicious person that we've seen since the truck driver.
Oh,
And he's,
he immediately jumps to the top of the list, like in the very first interaction.
oh yeah, he asks about Ben a lot. Um, for seemingly no reason. He just wants to catch up with his friend or whatever, is what he says. But then he said that Ben used to have coffee ready for him every morning or something along those lines. And Nick says, "You want me to make you some?" And he's like, "Sure, that'd be great." So Nick makes him the quickest brewing pot of coffee that you've ever seen.
And look, this is on like a very basic drip coffee maker, right? It's not like it's an
Right.
espresso machine or some like electronic cappuccino machine or something. Clearly, something weird is going on here that this sheriff, that's where he gets his coffee in town. Are you kidding?
Right. Not from the gas station across the street or
Or
anything
a
like that.
diner that I'm sure
Right.
exists in town that where he probably goes for breakfast, right? No, no, no. He's going to come to this motel and get a coffee from the office of the motel.
Yeah. And so after this, Nick is like, I'll make sure to have coffee ready for you every morning, and then proceeds to never have coffee ready for him
Really? I thought he
throughout
did
the
at that
rest of the
point.
movie. No, he makes it like you see him making it for the officer when he comes over.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
never has coffee ready.
But
Um,
he does use that to hit on the dominatrix woman when she checks in another time.
true, true. Um, yeah, so I guess I might have missed some stuff in there, but anyway, this sheriff comes in and it's just asking about Ben and like alleging to some weird stuff that's happened, but he doesn't really specify um what's going on. And there's just some like he says to Nick that he's got like a handful with this place or something like that. And
Well, because
wants to
he
know Nick's
finds out
background.
Ray finds out that a woman was killed there.
Is this where he finds that out?
Well, he had just kind of found out before the sheriff showed up that, and apologies, I don't think that we get the age quite right. So I don't know if she was a minor or an adult. The female. So, but either way, we find out that a female person was murdered at.
No, we think she killed herself.
Right. Sorry. Yes,
And
she
then
committed suicide. We're told she committed suicide in the pool.
yeah,
That's what. Yeah.
that she like cut herself and then fell into the pool and bled out, basically.
Right.
And when Nick brings that up to the officer, he instantly like gets very angry and says that unless she gutted herself, that it wasn't she didn't kill herself or something along those lines. It's kind of implied that he might be related to her, like the way he gets instantly
Yeah.
angry and worked up about this.
Well, so this is even more weird and confusing when you know the entire movie because spoiler warning, he did it. So if he did it, but everybody thinks it was a suicide, why would he want to stir that up?
Well, maybe he wants credit. He's what because serial killers, there's that famous thing
But
where like they want credit for their crimes.
but he doesn't because he's actively trying to tie up the loose ends.
I don't know, man. I think it's a lot of things in this movie don't make sense.
Okay. Okay.
So I guess they decide to take the night off. They turn on the no vacancy sign
Which I
and
guess you could
decide
just
to
do.
go to a casino or like some sort of something like that. A place
It's a
with slot
casino.
machines.
Yeah.
A place with slot machines and dancing and drinking. And they
Hmm.
go and get drunk.
Very.
Drive home drunk. I mean, we know that because Nick gets out of the car talking about how drunk he is. And then they're gonna bone down again, but they Nick wants to go get him some more drinks.
They're gonna go to the pool
Yeah.
because he
Nick
had
wants to go
flirted
get
with
him
her earlier.
some more drinks. And when she goes to open the door to the pool, it's covered in blood. And so she yells and Nick comes out and he goes see what's going on, and he finds a pig carcass that has been cut open with a piece of paper shoved into it, but not
Right.
all the way into it, just enough to where you can see that there's a piece of paper when you pull the pig out.
Right, because the pig's in the pool, and it's a picture of a young girl, like maybe high school age, and the name on the back says Cassie. So we know that this is in relation to the person who we've been told committed suicide.
Yeah. And so instead of calling the sheriff that said, please call me if anything weird happens and I'll be happy to help you with it,
Which seems like this would qualify.
this would qualify. He loads the pig up in a tarp, takes it to a reservation or something outside the city limits, and burns it,
In the middle of
lights
the
it on
desert.
fire in the
Yeah.
middle of the desert. Uh, yeah,
Which he doesn't really get away with. The sheriff knows that it happened.
well,
The guy,
before that, before that, the truck he gets back to the hotel and the trucker is banging on the door,
Right.
and his wife is not answering because she's terrible at her job, but also because she took some pills.
Right. Yeah. She's an addict. We know that earlier. We've seen her take some pills in the movie. We don't really know what they are.
Right. She takes some pills and she has passed out. And so Nick is seemingly traumatized from what's just happened, and he lets the guy in, and the guy is talking to him, and he's just not responding. And he goes and sits in a chair. And did you tell me if you noticed this? This is maybe another little thing that just bothered me and not you. But he takes his glasses off and cleans them with a dollar bill.
I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. With just like a literal dollar bill. That's what it looked
Now,
like.
Derek, as a glasses wearer, have you ever tried to clean your glasses with a dollar bill? And do you think, or was it successful if you have?
I have to say that of all the things that you might have on your person to do that with, it might be one of the worst options.
The dirtiest for sure.
Right? Like, well, but it's more like, look, people, if you don't wear glasses, you got something on the materials, you're going to scratch the lenses and things like that. Part of me wants to know, like, did he just grab the wrong thing from his pocket and they kept rolling? And
Like as an actor, you mean? Yeah.
yeah, like it wasn't supposed, like it wasn't scripted that it was a dollar bill, but that's what he pulled out, and they just nobody broke character, so they just used it.
I mean, he didn't skip a beat, so good for him.
Right? Like he just went with it and they kept rolling. So like I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but I did notice that and I thought it was really weird.
Yeah. Um,
Like if I was Tommy, the truck driver, I would have mentioned something.
yeah,
You know?
me
So,
too. But the truck driver, even though Nick isn't responding, he's just like, I'm gonna take my room, and Nick gives him a key, and he gives him the cash, and he says this wonderful line. Tell you probably laughed when you heard this too. The truck driver says, I gotta do my duty to my wiener.
yeah. It's the most ridiculous line. What is this movie, man? That's not a line for this movie. That's a
I'm not
line for like the Super Troopers version of this movie.
I could see that line in a Super Troopers movie for sure.
Right? Like if that was the plot for Super Troopers 3, right? That line would be in that movie, not this movie.
It's a weird line for sure. Like, it's not a moment that needed levity, and there's no real other moments in this movie that are funny.
I don't think he's trying to be funny either cuz like he talks about he's a sex addict.
Yeah,
Okay? And he claims that, his wife's not being intimate, physically intimate with him. So he's I guess just sleeping with any woman he can pick up as a trucker. Okay?
yeah,
Whatever. And so he's trying to, I guess, maybe make light of it to justify it and make himself feel better in front of Ray because he and Ben clearly had an understanding. And by the way, like what's kind of left unsaid in the movie is Ben was giving him room 10 so Ben could watch.
right.
That's really what was happening. I don't think Tommy knew that, by the way. I
Yeah,
think Tommy just thought he was getting a good room because it is the nicest room. It's like a double bed, big room kind of thing that we find out it's like the nicest room. So I think he just thinks he's getting the nicest room. Ben wanted to watch.
right.
So I
Yeah.
think like
I think
this
the
is,
inside of that mirror probably looks like a Jackson Pollock painting in there,
oh God.
you know, crusty and everything else. Um, yeah. So we did get a little bit ahead of ourselves because at this point Nick doesn't know about that girl in the pool other than the photo. He finds out the next morning after this. And you're going to ask, are you sure? And I'm going to say yes, because it's in my notes right here, right after that scene.
So the name Cassie means nothing to us when they discover the pig?
Well, my note says girl killed herself or was murdered. So maybe he had an inkling of something happening, but this is the morning he gets clarification with the sheriff on what happened.
Okay. Yeah, I think they had learned something ahead of this, and then this was the confirmation.
Right. Um, so I can't remember why, but it shows that they have security cameras
Hmm.
at this point. So now the question becomes, did they just shut the security cameras off for the night that the pig was thrown in there?
My theory there, because we don't get a great look at the security cameras, like more than that one time when he's showing the footage to the sheriff later. Maybe it doesn't show the pool, which makes no sense
But
to
there's
me.
4 cameras, and this is not a big area. You know what I mean?
Not only do I agree with that, if you have a pool, that's the like number one place where accidents are going to happen in the outdoors.
Right.
Why would you not have a camera on the pool if you're going to have cameras?
Especially if you know things have happened in the pool or like weird things have happened in the pool.
Don't know, man. I don't know. I got nothing.
Um, so my next note is that one of the cleaning lady I think was cleaning room 10 and she's screaming about something.
Right, which we're supposed to then think
It was like a
is
body or
a
something like that,
body.
but she's speaking in Spanish and there's no subtitles. So yeah, we're not supposed to know what she's saying. But Nick goes in there and there's a tiny little black snake in the tub,
Hmm.
which is weird because when he's carrying it out of the hotel room, while he's still in the room, he's taking it out of the tub, and it shows him like go through the room. That clearly looks like a plastic snake because it's not moving, and it's like one of those pre-bent snakes.
Yeah.
Then when he comes out of the hotel room, it appears to be a real snake, and he's fine with it. Kudos to Nick. I know he's a big animal fan and
Yeah, I
owns
think that
snakes and
he
stuff like that. But
yeah.
why would they use a rubber? Maybe it wasn't a rubber snake, and the snake just wasn't moving for that, and it was in the perfect shape.
I think that's more likely.
I don't know. It was weird because it was because he was holding it by his tail, and for like cruelty reasons, they didn't want it to look like they didn't want it to be a real snake. Because when he comes out
Yeah,
holding it, it's like crawled in his hand,
that's
and it's
true.
not.
That's a
I don't
good
know.
point. Because I mean, that,
Only
you know,
thing I can think of.
that's not you're not supposed to hold a snake by its tail. Because I mean, I guess that's not a dangerous snake. But if it was right, the farther away from the mouth you are, the easier it is for the mouth to get to you.
Right, and it doesn't
So
really hurt a snake to hold it by its tail. It doesn't at all. I picked up dozens of snakes over my life, and a lot of snakes. That's just how you deal with them because most snakes can't go back up their body high enough to bite you.
oh, really? Look
There
at
are a
that.
few locally. If you see a big black snake in your backyard locally here in the Kansas City area, and you try and do that, you're probably going to get bit.
Cool.
Non-venomous, but they can climb up. They're a tree snake, so they can climb up their own body.
Ah, okay.
Um, or they're a rat snake, but for some reason, I think they are arboreal and can
Oh,
climb up
like the one
trees.
I had that I called you over here
Yes,
for?
yeah. That's one that can climb up its body. Yes, and
Great.
for all our listeners, I'm the friend that gets called when somebody needs a snake dealt with. Um, yeah, so
I
uh,
just don't know what to do. I don't know.
that's fair.
I'm not a snake guy. I don't have a
Um,
problem with them.
that's a great place to be, honestly. As long as you're not killing them, I'm happy. Yeah, so then the sheriff comes back and asks about my notes say Ray. Is that the right name?
Ray is Nicolas Cage's character.
Oh yeah. Asking, oh yeah, because he comes back to ask the wife,
Maggie, yeah. Because
Maggie,
Ray's
about
out.
Ray.
Where did he go? Is that what this is when he chased the dominatrix to the bar?
No, I
Okay.
don't think so.
Where is he at this point then?
I don't remember. I think he just went into town for something. But because the
Okay.
women, the then so I can't remember who sees it, if it's the wife or Ray, but they the woman that was in room 10 with the dominatrix was found dead. Oh,
Right.
I remember because Ray comes home from wherever he went and they see it. She calls him over on the news and they're watching the news together and that's on.
Hmm. And I
Um,
guess we skipped over. I mean, we do see the murder happen in room 10. The dominatrix leaves, and there's a person who's been sitting kind of mostly off screen. Ray sees like the tip of the foot of the toes of his boots, and this person kills the room 6 woman that we don't. That's what she's actually credited as, Jessica room 6. And I think the dominatrix woman is Strawberry Blonde,
yeah,
I think is the official credit there. So we know this woman's dead, but now the characters know. Ray and Maggie know.
yeah. Um, so Nick sees that the Mustang is back and it's in room 10. So he goes to the room or goes to like his little hidden room. But before he gets into like the viewing area, I don't know if you noticed this, Derek, but it was so funny to me. he fixes his hair and beard
Yes,
as
yes. Oh
if
my God.
someone's going to be seeing him.
He's got to look his best while he's peeping on others.
Yes. And so he goes up there and once again sees some girl on girl action happening. Although
Hmm.
this one's more less sex and more just like dom sub type behavior. And
Right.
when he looks over, this time he's there, he sees what looks to be someone sitting in a chair.
Oh, this is when he sees that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, before he didn't see the murder happen before.
Right.
The
We
all
did, but
we saw a person dressed all in black go in and beat the shit out of the woman and kill her basically. And I want to say in that scene that was not the sheriff. There's no that guy was way bigger than the sheriff. That guy was like the size of that trucker.
you think the sheriff's a pretty big guy?
I guess, but when that guy was wearing all black, he looked like a much larger person than that sheriff. I don't know, maybe I'm
Hmm.
wrong. But to me, I was never like that was the sheriff. I was like
Yeah,
that was the trucker guy for sure.
I don't know. I mean, he's 6'2". Um, just for perspective there.
It wasn't really the height, more it was more about like the build.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he looks like a big dude to me. I don't know.
Fair enough. I guess when he's in the sheriff's uniform, he didn't look as big to me. But either way, yeah, we saw that happen earlier, and now this time we're watching the Dom subroutine, and it looks like somebody in boots is sitting in a room right next to it and watching what's going on.
Hmm.
And so Nick goes over to the gas station and starts accusing the gas station guy
Well, because he
of
comes back to the office and somebody has put red paint or blood on the windows of the
Yeah,
office.
yeah, and he goes over there, and I think he's, if I remember right, he's angry because they didn't see who did it.
Right. Well, right. Yeah.
And oh, and earlier in the movie, when he's talking to the sheriff about stuff, the sheriff keeps saying that the boys across the street saw him leave and saw him come back, and like they had
They're
remembered
like
all these things happen.
informants.
Yeah, they're basically saying every move that Nick's character makes. And so
But
when he
then,
goes over there, he's like, "You guys got eyes on me all the time, but you can't see who did this." And
right.
he's pissed off. And so the gas station owner's like, "Leave," and the guy leaves. And when he walks out, the creepy guys are there. And I gotta say, like, look, I try and find the good in everything, but those actors were really bad. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe you're better by now, but in this movie, the acting or maybe the way it was directed, something was not working because that felt like the most fake acting I've seen in one of these movies in a while. I don't know if you got that same vibe, but those guys were much more uh intimidating when they weren't talking or having to do anything except stare at Nick.
And I'm tempted to think it has something to do with the writing and the direction. Because, for example, the main guy who was talking, Jason Wixom, he's been in 91 productions. He's got 10 upcoming. I don't think you can be in 100 things and have that type of performance every time. So, I got to imagine that it has more to do with the direction and the writing.
And that may be the case. It's easy to blame it on the actors because that's what you're seeing. But you're definitely right. And I don't want to, I don't like saying like people's acting is bad. It could have been a lot of things. Maybe they were given they tried to act a certain way, and the director was like, no, not like that, and they didn't feel comfortable necessarily the way that the director wanted to do it or something. Who knows? In any case, it was bad. It was a bad scene.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he's yelling at him, and they're having a discussion about what's going on and blah blah blah, being very creepy.
Hmm.
And he goes back and sees the Mustang leaving the room.
Right.
And so he decides he's going to follow her wherever she's going.
Always a good
And
idea,
yeah, well, great
right?
idea.
What could possibly go wrong? speeding down a desert dark road following a woman in her car that was staying at your motel. Like all of this is so bad.
Yeah.
It's all so bad.
So he follows her and she goes to like a bar
Right.
and she's sitting at a table by herself in a room that seems to be a cage. Did you notice that? There's like bars. There's a door, but there's like bars.
Yeah, it did look like it could close off. I mean, for
But
all
it's
I
just
know,
one
it's
small table in this big area of the bar that's like blocked
was it
off
the
by
only
bars.
there were other tables in there.
Well,
Because when
nobody
there's
was
the
sitting at any of them.
no, no one was sitting at any of them. But that's why I think like maybe what they do is maybe that gets closed off at a certain point of the night. Like maybe earlier in the day they have like lunch there and dinner there or whatever, and now it's after food service, so they just have the bar open. And it
So
seemed
you're
like
saying that the bars were an aesthetic choice,
I don't know about aesthetic. I think they were like a practical choice.
having rebar up and down that looks like jail, basically.
Maybe it was the cheap option. I mean, this is like a desert town, do it yourself type people. That was just what they had, the materials available, you know. That
Maybe.
that did not bother me, you know.
It
So
was just a weird, it didn't really bother me. It was just a weird thing.
yeah.
But so he goes in there and sits with the woman, and she's like, I've got a date coming, so you need to go. And he's like, I'll go when you answer my questions or whatever. And so he's asking her about the murder and about the woman, and she grabs his dick, and
Like you do.
like you do. And eventually, like a bouncer walks up and is like, is this guy bothering you? And she's like, yeah. And the bouncer's like, let's go, buddy. And he pulls a gun out on the bouncer and starts a giant bar fight.
Hmm.
So that happens. And he gets the shit kicked out of him. And eventually he leaves.
I do have a question for you because we get the square later for a different reason, but during this fight, it looked like maybe he hit Crew Cut with the gun. Did you count that as a melee weapon?
No, but there is a melee weapon at some
Later.
point. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Later there
So
is, but
so either
at the
way,
moment but I wasn't sure if that would have
yeah,
counted.
it would have counted, yeah,
Okay.
because you can use a gun as a melee weapon.
Right? Yeah.
Um, yeah, so he gets back to his hotel and immediately parks in probably the only handicap spot at the hotel. And I know that because it
Yeah.
makes a point to show
For some
that he
reason.
parks in the handicap spot, which has no relevance to anything that happens,
Nope. Just a thing that we're sure to make
just to
clear.
establish him as an asshole, I guess.
Well, that's the thing. This is another clear-cut example of he's playing an asshole, but he's the protagonist, so everyone else has to be a bigger asshole.
Yeah,
Right? Like that's just a lot of his movies fall into this category. I don't know how to put all of that on a bingo square, but
right.
like that's what it is.
Well, I think that's in our Nick plays an asshole
It's
slot.
built into that a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
which I
true.
didn't mark. I need to mark that one.
Yeah, right.
Um, so yeah, he gets home and he gets in a big fight with his wife. And he takes her drugs that he notices because she's trying to take them, and he grabs the bottle and throws the drugs in the toilet. And then she's freaking out at him, so he puts her in the shower and turns the shower on like you do when you need somebody to calm down, I guess.
I,
It's not a
look,
technique I've ever used or seen used until this movie.
yeah, it's not great. She's very upset because, you know, she watched him drive off in the middle of the night chasing down this woman who's been staying at the motel, and he just vanishes, and you know, he's not answering the phone because he left his phone, and whether that was on purpose or not, right? And so she's just kind of like done with him fooling around behind her back.
Yeah, but they still go to sleep. And when he wakes up in the morning, she's packing all her stuff and leaving.
They don't just go to sleep. They do have sex.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They bone
It's like
down.
I think in her mind it's a like a one last hurrah before she leaves kind of thing, one last positive memory.
Right. And so she's leaving, and the sheriff shows up again. And he's like, just go ahead and do your normal routine, and I'll just follow you around and talk to you.
Like the most suspicious person on the fucking planet.
Yeah. And so there, Nick's cleaning up, I think, room 10. And
No, because
it's a different room.
it's a different mirror. They make a very big point because like I think we're supposed to feel that tension of like maybe he's gonna find the mirror or whatever, but it's a different room.
Yeah, because there's a praying mantis on. Was it on the mirror or was it on
Yeah,
TV?
it's
Yeah, it
on
was
the
on the mirror.
mirror.
Yeah, and so he takes a Bible out and squashes the praying mantis with a Bible
Nothing
and
heavy-handed about that.
smears it all over the mirror. And he's like, "Oh shoot, give me some cleaning stuff and I'll clean that up."
Well, he's like that could have gone better, which comes back later. He says the same line later. I could have sworn, and maybe this is like one of those urban myth type things. I thought it was illegal to kill praying mantises.
No, it's not illegal to kill
Okay,
praying mantises.
I thought it
I
was.
never even heard that as an urban legend, to be
I thought they
honest.
were. I thought they were endangered or something.
No, not endangered, not protected, nothing like that. But go ahead and Google it.
I am. I'm doing it.
I
I'm
know I
doing it
can
right
see
now.
you doing it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So while
Yeah.
they're
It's not true. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I've never even heard that as a thing. So, the cop brings up the death of his daughter.
Yeah,
Uh,
so this is the big review because up until now, the sheriff's been playing very much like he doesn't really know much about Ray. He really just wants to talk to Ben. You know, he's just obsessive about Ben. And so here's the big reveal that he knows the kind of shady, sordid past of Ray and Maggie.
yeah, he pulls out like a copy of a magazine article. And he's like,
Hmm.
just because I'm a small town sheriff doesn't mean I don't get access to the big city news. And he pulls out this article and he says something about the daughter falling out of a window or something like that,
Right,
and how Nick was off screwing with the neighbor while this happened, and the mom was passed out on pills,
right.
and that they came here just to escape their past. Uh,
Which, I mean, that all appears to be true. That part seems to be what happened.
yeah. But he just keeps asking about Ben, keeps asking about Ben, and eventually he leaves. But he says, if you hear anything from Ben, let me know. And he just keeps coming back to this. Well, Nick now has a mission to find Ben for some
Yeah, all
reason.
of a sudden, this has become priority one.
He's like got a full sheet of paper with every method that he can think of for trying to find Ben on this sheet of paper. And he, at the point we see the sheet of paper, he's crossed everything out. And he looks exasperated. And at that point, Ben calls him.
Woo!
Who could have guessed? And so they decided to meet up in the desert.
Now, again, kind of like with the pig situation, right? The cop's like, if you hear from Ben, let me know. And Nick's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go meet Ben in the middle of the desert,
Without telling you.
even though everyone clearly is watching every move I make and
Right.
reporting it back to the sheriff. I'm not going to tell the sheriff and just hope I don't get seen this time.
Yeah, so he meets up with Ben, and Ben immediately gets sniped out in the desert.
And Ben's clearly shown to be a paranoid type person, right? He pulls up in the van, he comes out, he's got a Geiger counter that he's
Yeah.
checking. I'm not exactly sure how that works with what he thought he was doing with Ray. I don't really know, right? But
Yeah, I don't remember what he says. He says something about it,
he said, well,
but
he says it's he bought it from the Ukraine. It's what they use in the Ukraine. Like, okay, it's a Geiger
yeah,
counter. I mean,
it's very clearly a Geiger counter. But I think they were trying to imply that it wasn't, and he was doing something else with it. But
oh, like they were okay. They were using
like it
it
was a
for
movie prop that we know
gotcha.
as a Geiger counter in real life, but in the movie universe, it was supposed to be something else.
That's interesting. I didn't consider that. Okay,
Um,
so maybe he was checking for like radio signals or something
yeah, something like that.
because
But
he's
then,
wearing. You're
yeah,
thinking he's wearing a wire.
he gets sniped. He offers to give Ray half his money back.
To just leave, take the money and leave the motel behind, don't go back kind of
Yeah,
thing. Right. So clearly, like now for context, Ray bought the motel from Ben via a Craigslist ad.
yeah,
So they're not old friends, they're not buddies, they do not really know each other. No real research was done here, right? So now Ben's like, screw it, I'll give you half your money, get out of there. So this is a mess.
yeah. And then Ben gets immediately sniped.
Which I mean,
Um,
look, I'll say this. Jumping ahead a little bit, right? It's the sheriff who shot him, right?
Apparently, I mean, you think so.
Dude's a good shot.
Not only is he a good shot, but he drives really fast because by the time Ray gets back to his motel, now the wife is bound up and like tied to a chair and like held hostage,
But
basically.
dude, he shoots Ben right through the chest, not touching Nick from like 2 football fields away.
Yeah, we don't even know how far away because we don't know where he was really. I
Well,
mean,
we
it's
see the car. I'm
implied
assuming he's by the car. I was just making that
we see,
assumption, but
yeah, we see smoke from the car leaving and we see like the top of the car, but really, I
that's
mean,
like a marksmanship type shot.
maybe he was former military. He's a cop. I mean,
But
it's
none of
sure.
that groundwork is laid though. None of that's ever answered. He's just a small town
No,
sheriff
but
who
neither is
like
anything to do with the daughter. Neither is,
I
the
mean, but
none.
some things for me there's
Neither
only
is the gas station mafia. There's just no. There's like a lot of this stuff wasn't.
I know, but there's only so many things that I can just excuse and accept. Like this was a perfect shot
Yeah, and that's what bothered you. Whereas the tiny trash can, bothered me.
because my thing affects the plot, right?
Meh. They would have just killed him some other way. I mean, it wouldn't have been a
Then
big deal.
do that. Make it more believable. I don't
But
know.
yeah, he gets back and the sheriff is holding the wife hostage, and it was in room 10, right?
Right. Yes. Because
And
there's this,
Nick,
is it a blue light? You know, I'm colorblind here. I don't know if
yeah,
it's blue,
so it's
purple, whatever.
weird. So it's weird. Every time Nick is going to go spy on this room, there's a blue light coming out of the window. And
Right.
we don't really ever get an explanation why there's a blue light. Because when he goes and looks at it, it's not like blue lit room.
No, it's a normal looking room. So I don't really
But he
understand
sees
that.
the sheriff's car pulled up to that and like the blue light coming from the room.
Well, and he
And
goes into their home slash office, and the place clearly is a mess. So there's been some
ransacked, yeah.
altercation. Yeah.
And so he's like, I know where to go. I'm going to go to my creep room. And so he gets into the creep room, and the sheriff is like, well, he's not going to show. I guess I'm going to have to kill you without him. He's giving like the most evil monologue that you could possibly
Yeah.
imagine, telling his entire plan.
I will say this of all the things that happen in the movie, this was one of the smarter things that Ray does. Right? Like it is he in with the options he thinks he has, I think he handles it as
You think
cleverly as he
diving
could
out of
have.
the mirror to fight him is the
It
way to do it.
I mean, better than what? Knocking on the front door and just getting shot in the face.
I mean, yeah, but it's not like it's a really tactical move. It's the most obvious solution to the problem that they've set up the entire movie.
But I'm just saying,
The
right?
mirror was literally the looking glass. I mean,
I
it's the
know. No,
title of the movie.
I didn't say that it was like mysterious in some way. It's a
You're
very
just impressed with how
heavy-handed.
clever he is.
So impressed. I'm so Ryan, I am so impressed.
So he dives out the mirror at this cop, and they get in a tussle, and Nick stabs him with a piece of the looking glass in the heart, which was what I counted as a melee weapon. Um,
No, he
and
doesn't stab
was
him in
it
the heart.
what does he stab him? Oh, he stabs him in like the leg.
And like no, he gets him like in the neck
Oh, is
side
it
of
the
his
neck?
face kind of thing.
I
Because
just
like
remember he
there's
stabbed him with the glass.
yeah, well, because the sheriff stabs Ray with a knife like in the kind of upper chest, lower shoulder area. Kind of, we don't get a good look at it. But there is a great moment before he dives through the glass though, where he's like tapping on it, and the sheriff's like, "What the fuck?" Like it was just that was an interesting moment for me. I was curious like what they were gonna do with that because I don't know that jumping through a glass one way mirror with no like running start because he's in like inside a wall. I don't really know how realistic that is.
How realistic is a sheriff that has no military training making a shot from 300 yards or
You're the
whatever?
one who said maybe he's ex-military. I
I
was
know. I'm just saying it's not real. None of this is realistic. So
the
that's
sheriff also has plenty of free time. Clearly nothing else is going on. There's no other
true.
officers anywhere looking for the sheriff. He's just MIA.
Yeah. So they fight and yeah, he
Nick somehow wins this
Nick
fight.
wins this fight with the sheriff and frees his wife.
The sheriff does get the same line of that could have gone better. So he gets to say that twice for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
And then Nick and his wife just leave.
And we get the end in
The
the credit
end in
sequence
the
zooming in.
Zoom. Yeah, what a terrible choice that is. Honestly, I know we're bringing up a lot, but it's because it's so jarring.
It's so misplaced. It just doesn't fit the tone of the movie. And look, the movie just ends like this.
That's the ending of the movie. Yeah.
So there's a motel that they bought that now has a dead sheriff in one of the rooms.
but they just leave and it's fine.
It's modern times, so it's 2018. What they don't get found?
Yeah, apparently, because
And
that's the end of the movie.
there's no answers for anything. So like, do the gas station people nothing? I guess they were just spying
That's
for the
all for the
sheriff,
sequel. That's
or
all for the
just
sequel, Derek.
Looking Glass 2, keep looking.
Exactly. Look again. So yeah,
Second viewing.
at this point in the movie, or at this point in the movie, at this point in the podcast, we usually look at some IMDb reviews to kind of see how other people are feeling and make sure we're not just in our own little bubble here talking about hating on a movie that doesn't deserve it or vice versa. So Derek, would you like me to start with the low reviews or the high reviews this time?
No, let's start with the high reviews. I got to hear these.
Okay, so there is one 10 out of 10 review for this
Really?
movie. One by Jennifer Story.
Hmm.
Um, she says, not a bad mystery. I was tempted to bypass watching this based on so many bad reviews, but the few good ones, in addition to being a fan of Nicolas Cage, helped me decide to go ahead and watch it. Is it a 10? No, except that she just rated it a 10. But it's interesting, and the mystery of the things going on at the motel were enough to keep my attention. Would I have liked the ending to be wrapped up in a pretty bow? Sure. Was it necessary? No. I appreciate the good reviews that helped me decide to give this movie a chance. I am always surprised by Nicolas Cage's ability to play so many characters. All the actors were great. Hope you enjoy it too. So then there's 0 9-star reviews. So then we get into 8-star reviews. We have one here from Louis the Pit, who may have seen this in theaters because he posted this March 1st, 2018. There was a time Nicolas Cage was an acting god. Then he got older and the movies he chose were not that great. But now he has come to terms with his age and the acting is back, guys. Great level acting, good movies. This are not the super blockbusters he used to make, nor he is that Hollywood god. But everything has a season, and this Nicolas Cage season is like a good old wine. As for this movie, good suspense, great acting, and a very good premise, great quality. Simply put, Cage is back and the B-grade movies are long behind. Okay. That one has 54 thumbs up for being helpful and 27 thumbs down.
Okay.
One more 8 out of 10 here says, excellent movie, recommended, kept my attention throughout. Not a fast moving flick, but made up for it with a little more character development. Almost didn't watch due to some negative reviews. I should have known better. Unfortunately, there's a large portion of today's movie audience always expecting lots of CGI, which for me are movies akin to soulless software programs. Nicolas Cage does an excellent job displaying his internal struggle to fight temptation versus doing the right thing. So there you go. Your high level reviews. So now we get to the 1 out of 10s, of which there are 20. The top one that has been thumbs up as helpful 55 times and thumbs down as not helpful 33 times is by Chum Griffin. Just do the look at a glass for an hour. Just do the above for an hour and avoid watching this complete mishmash of nonsense scripts. It has lots of holes and character choices that make no sense. One thing I can absolutely guarantee you is that if you don't take my advice and choose to endure viewing this silly tat, then once you get to the end credits, you will say to yourself, damn it, I should have taken heed of that harsh review. Okay. Llewellyn says, as a Nicolas Cage fan, I was expecting good things with this film. The write-up sounded right up my alley. Sadly, I was bitterly disappointed. The actors were not engaging, convincing, or believable, and they all had a permanent look of confusion on their faces throughout the films. So did we. They were not the only ones. While the plot was imaginative, it lacked the intrigue and suspense, offered very little answer to many burning questions. On the whole, it seems that this was not a well-thought-out film and had more holes in it than an old fisherman's net. The last few
Oh, damn.
films, I know, the last few films of Cage have been poor in comparison to his earlier work, such as Face Off, Con Air, and Gone in 60 Seconds. That is not early work, by the way. This is as poor as his previous film, Left Behind. I personally think they should have left this one behind too, on the cutting room floor. I will say this was better than Left Behind. Left Behind was really bad.
I will say I like the way this review was written.
I do too. Yeah, Llewellyn, you should write more.
That was good. I like that.
Last 1 out of 10 review here is from Pete 1-2. He said it's like a really bad ripoff of 2007's Vacancy. This film has everything you expect from a typical Nicholas, I'll take anything as long as I'm the protagonist, Cage film. Bad acting, unoriginal, often boring script, non-believable characters that you want bad things to happen to because they do and say stupid things. And finally, there's a fatally incoherent plotline full of holes. This was thoroughly dull experience from beginning to end. Even the voyeuristic erotica was poorly done, unbelievably amateurish. That is
Yeah, I mean,
a person that knows his erotica.
it's hard to disagree with most of what these people are saying. And what's amazing is in IMDb, if you look under goofs, there's a section for plot holes. There's only one written, and it's actually not a plot hole. It's about them finding the floating pig and not contacting law enforcement. That's a plot point. That's not a plot
Yeah,
hole. There
right.
are plot holes. That's kind of interesting.
So are you gonna have to fill in all those plot holes, Derek?
I got
Fill
I
out that
got
section?
other things to do.
Oh, fair
So,
enough.
all right. So to review this one's a little tricky because we were talking you mentioned, Left Behind, right? And you were saying Left Behind is better than this one?
No, this is probably better than Left
You're saying
Behind.
this is better yeah, okay. So I agree with that. I agree with that. But like I'm looking at Left Behind, I'm like maybe we were a little harsh on Left Behind now. I don't know.
I don't
Um,
think so. It's still really terrible.
that was really bad. Yeah. So okay, so we got to grade the movie.
Yeah.
So we have our Cageometer. You can go to comingofcage.com. We have a relatively new interactive Cageometer now that I update. It lags behind the show a few episodes, because we want you to listen, of course. But go check that out, comingofcage.com. And we have a 20-point scale. One is low, 20 is high. Overall quality and overall caginess. So the quality on this one, I'm a little wish-washy on. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to give it a 6.
Yeah, I was at a 7, so I think
Okay.
we're pretty close.
I was on the
What did we
fence.
get Left Behind?
So you gave Left Behind a 5. I gave it a 4.
No, I think that's right where it should
You
be.
think
That was terrible. I would watch
I,
this movie 10 times if it saved me from having to watch Left Behind once.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a 6.5 on quality. Caginess. There is not much
No.
in here like at all. I'm
I
struggling
mean,
even.
other than the little nuances, like him, like doing this before he goes to watch two women get erotic with each other.
Yeah,
There's some little things that I could consider cagey, but very few, very very few.
that's why I think like I don't think it's a 1, but I think it's a 2.
Yeah, I would say two also.
Okay. All right. So a 6.5 on quality and a 2 on caginess puts it in what I would argue to call the bad
Oh
quadrant
yeah, for
of
sure.
of the cageometer. Because you've got the movies that are low quality but high caginess, and those can be a lot of fun, like Vampire's Kiss, for example. Then
Right.
you've got the low caginess, high quality movies like Pig and Adaptation, really good dramatic films. Then you have the high in both, which can also be a lot of fun movies like Unbearable Weight, for example,
Yeah.
or very heavy like Leaving Las Vegas that he got his Oscar in. So, that's like the best of the best probably for the average person, though my favorite is still Pig, but that's me. Now we have to move on to the wheel O cage. So what we do is we spin the wheel O cage to determine which movie we watch next on the
Yeah.
show. And we do not have every movie on the wheel. We only have a chunk of movies. So when we cover one, we have to then replace it on the wheel. So replacing Looking Glass and joining the wheel O cage is the classic Wild at Heart, David Lynch.
Nice.
So yeah,
Snakeskin jacket.
that's so that movie is now eligible to be selected on the Wheel O Cage. To find out which Nicolas Cage movie we talk about next time on the show, you can go to comingofcage.com and watch the Wheel O Cage spin. You can also watch our Cage O Bingo series. We've been talking about that a lot this episode, where we play custom themed Nicolas Cage bingo as we watch these movies. That's always a good time. We're of course on your podcast app of choice. You can stream us there, and as I stutter. You can watch us on YouTube at the Derrico Studios YouTube channel. You can see our faces, sometimes see my dog wandering around. She was in the screen earlier over here. Ryan, anything else for Looking
I
Glass?
have one final thought, Derek.
Please.
Can you imagine being cast as a house cleaner for this movie and then reading the script and finding out you get a scene alone with Nick Cage, and not only that, it's a dream sequence where you orally copulate with him. Can you imagine how excited that actress must have been? There's actors that will go their whole career and never have anything like that.
It's a wild scene.
99% of actors will never have a scene, a dream sequence where they orally copulate with Nick Cage. The anal one, maybe. I don't know. We haven't seen all his movies.
It's a wild scene, man, because clearly as an audience member, we're supposed to think he's going to dream about either his wife or one of the two women that he just watched from behind the mirror, right? Like that's what we're supposed to think. And then it's this fourth woman who is like the least that we would expect, you know? And so I thought that was interesting. That certainly caught me off guard.
Yeah. That's my final thought about the movie. I just thought I'd bring that up.
All right, that's your
Good on you, actress, whatever your name was. Good on you.
final thoughts with Ryan.
That's right.
All right. Well, hey, we're the Coming of Cage podcast, comingofcage.com for all of our links. I'm Derek. That's Ryan.
We'll see you next time.